Hello, everyone. I am broadcasting live right now from my bed in London. It's pretty chilly in my apartment, so I am snuggled underneath the covers in order to bring you a video really talking about our subconscious. Over the past few weeks, I've been really looking into and further studying the tarot. I got to spend the month of January with my mom in Los Angeles, which was so wonderful. And we used the time to really do an in-depth study of the tarot. And one of the cards that we talked about is the High Priestess. Now, at the moment, I'm sort of in a transition period in my life. I moved out of Chicago in August. I moved here to Europe to work with my sister. And now I'm at this point where I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to do next. And there is so much input and so much information that can leave me feeling really ungrounded, really disconnected from my intuition, feeling really all over the place. And so one of the things that I was thinking about in manifestation and talking about with my mom and in life was just about when we manifest, and I've posted this on our Instagram, is that, manifestation is our conscious and subconscious working together. They are the best of friends and partners in being able to create. So when we decide that we're going to create something, like for me, for example, where I want to live, conscious decision, that's where I'm deciding, making a choice. My subconscious helps support that. The beautiful thing about our subconscious is that it always says yes. Always, no matter what. It says, I'm going to find out where I'm going to live. My subconscious says yes. My mind says, but I don't know if I'm going to figure out where I'm going to live. My mind says yes. My subconscious says, my conscious mind says that I'm going to live in Los Angeles. My subconscious mind says yes. But then my conscious mind says, maybe I'm not so sure that I want to live there. My subconscious mind says yes. And in really feeling this push and pull, even so internally, I've really had to refine and hone and pay attention to what I'm feeding my subconscious mind. And this has kept popping up over and over again for me. And one of the things that in intuition, if you're kind of when you're tuned in, is you realize that nothing is a coincidence. This reinforcing of paying attention to my subconscious work is really my intuition saying, girl, you need to work and train your subconscious a little bit. Now, the beautiful thing is, subconscious is easy. The subconscious just says yes. So it decides. But what I've really noticed is that because our subconscious is so impressionable, is so open, that it's really up to me to pay attention to what I'm feeding my brain, what I'm feeding my conscious mind, what I'm feeding my subconscious. And one of the ways that this is really manifested for me and one of the reasons that really gave me like an aha was the other day I'm a big fan of RuPaul's Drag Race. I love it. It's like such a great uplifting show. It makes me feel so happy. Like I love, love, love it. If you haven't heard of it, it's highly recommend from over here. But I was watching a video about RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm like super jet lagged. I'm very turned around. So I'm kind of up in the middle of the night from like 2 to 10 a.m. And I was watching a video about RuPaul's Drag Race, whatever. I go to sleep and all of a sudden, all of these characters from this TV show are in my dreams. I can see and I'm interacting with them, and it's not even, the dream's not even worth really mentioning. But when I woke up, I realized how quickly feeding my brain, feeding these different things had this very clear input output. It was like the input of RuPaul's Drag Race, output of my subconscious experience. And all of a sudden I realized that I had to be really careful and really aware of what it was that I was feeding my subconscious. One of the things is we are so inundated with images all the time on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TV, radio, whatever. We are constantly bombarded with sensory input. And as human beings, we're not built to have this much input all the time. And we tune out, we are learning to selectively tune out, but we have to remember that our subconscious does register it. Our conscious mind might not be completely registering, but our subconscious mind is picking up on all of those different things. So in order to really start to pay attention on what it is that you feed your head, what are the things that you are paying attention to? We have to remember that our attention is important. Where we focus our energy, what the things are that we allow into our minds has value. And a lot of times, I feel like in the world, sometimes I get really disconnected from that. I forget as to how important it is that I pay attention to what it is that I feed myself. So, like I was saying, first and foremost, being aware of what it is that you're paying, and even starting to notice how what you not only feed your your mind is not only how it directly manifests into your reality. Second of all, how you talk to yourself. We say this over and over and over again, but like I said, our subconscious just says yes. So when we're really critical of ourselves, when we're really unkind to ourselves, when we are really disconnected even from ourselves, it has a direct impact on our subconscious and how we manifest. And that doesn't mean never say anything bad to yourself, because that's not true. I mean, we're human beings. But really, in starting to pay attention and really give space to our thoughts, give space to what it is that we tell ourselves, give space so that we're not so on autopilot that we disconnect. The funny thing about reality and about how we view the world is that it is a choice. The thing is that we have a lot of decision in how we decide that our outlook is going to be, on how we decide that we're going to treat ourselves, and the way that we decide that we're going to even manifest. Manifestation 101 is the power of decision. That's once we decide to do something, the whole universe conspires to help to support us. So when we use that conscious power to decide how we're going to feed our minds is an incredibly important superpower. So first and foremost, just some really quick ways to help you supporting feeding your subconscious. Like I'm saying, watch what you pay attention to. Watch what you make important. Endlessly scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, anything, as we all know, can make us feel kind of crappy, because it obviously sets up this place of where we're constantly comparing ourselves to another. Second of all, surround yourself with beautiful imagery. The subconscious loves pictures and doesn't work linearly. It just sort of absorbs. So surround yourself with things that uplift you. Put something on the back of your phone screen which makes you feel good. Maybe it's something that you want. Maybe it's something that you want to feel, something that you are wanting to connect to. Third of all, of really giving yourself space, giving yourself that little bit of cube of space, and being kind to yourself. And we can do that so easily by just even giving ourselves times throughout the day where we just even take one breath and even connect to that breath, and even just watch how our thoughts come in. It's sort of like we have a decision to get off the rotisserie chicken spit of not always being super kind to ourselves. Third of all, before you go to bed, this I also find is a really special time. So I would encourage you to even just practice for just a few days of putting down your phone, turning off the TV, and even feeding your mind with maybe a journaling exercise, of just even talking about your day, how you're feeling, what your intuition's saying, anything like that, or even reading a book or listening to some beautiful music, something to help you tune back into yourself. Once we get that conscious and subconscious mind working together, these are our best friends. These are best friends in being able to create a life that we want, that supports us and fulfills us. Like I said, the subconscious mind says yes. It's not difficult to change our subconscious thinking. First of all, even deciding that we can has an incredible power in itself. And second of all, just having a little bit of support. Like I said, putting up beautiful images, saying nice things to ourselves, paying attention to what we feed our minds, being quiet, having that meditative space to go inwards. And even if it's mindfully walking, even if it's, taking a few minutes to meditate out of your day, it doesn't have to be a big thing, but even choosing mindfulness. I was listening to a wonderful podcast on being, Krista Tippett, and it was this woman who's on, who's talking about mindfulness, and she's not a Buddhist, but she's just been studying mindfulness, and I loved her. She was so fantastic. I'll post her podcast in the comments because I really appreciated the different things that she had to say. But one of the things that she was saying was that, in not even being able to choose to be present, we decide that I'm going to be present. We're not actually being present. But a really good tip and tool, and this is something my mom has taught me, which I love when there's these crossovers, is that when we start to pay attention and noticing the things that are around us, noticing what's going on, maybe even right now in this room, paying attention and noticing something that you've never noticed before. We go so quickly onto autopilot that I know that I got this, that, there's nothing to be learned here. And when we do that, it disconnects us from the present moment. And when we are in the present moment, that's when we have the power to choose. That's when we have the power to channel our energy. So this week, I would love for you to pay attention to how you feed your subconscious mind. And meaning that of what is your input? What are you choosing to put into your brain? Because it matters. It directly affects us. And as we do that, how it has a natural and direct effect, first of all, in giving us more internal space, reconnecting us back with our spirit, bringing us back to the moment, putting us back into being able to listening, being able to tune into our intuition is an act of listening. It's listening for the vibration. It's feeling it in our bodies. And if we're not here, if we're not grounded, and if we're not tuned in, and we have just decided that that's what it is, we're tuned out and we're missing it completely. So, and again, like I said, the wonderful thing about intuition is not only is it the way that we're naturally designed, but it's actually incredibly simple. It's these really, really simple ways that we can start to pay attention, to notice, to feel the vibration, to be back in our bodies. So first of all, like I said, notice what's going on here. Hi, Anada. Notice what's going on around you. Notice how your body feels. Notice things going on in the room. How about if you have a long-term partner or friend or a coworker, notice something about them that you haven't noticed before and see how it brings you into the present moment, and see how often you can be present and mindful and throughout your day, and how that feeds your intuition, and how what happens is that our conscious mind starts to be trained to be here. And our subconscious mind works to support it, works to say yes, works to be so incredibly flexible and incredibly supportive. That's the beauty and the magic of it. So often we make these things incredibly complicated. We're like, well, and then I have to do this, and then these are the different ways. But reality is that it's all just starts with a decision, and with even choosing to see something on a different perspective, and allowing ourselves to be fed, allowing ourselves to choose what it is that we eat. Just like if you're going to eat a bunch of junk food and it's going to make you feel bad, you're going to eat a bunch of vegetables. So it'll make your body feel good. I mean, I like vegetables. I've learned to like vegetables. I used to really love junk food. So it's almost like the exact same thing. Back in the day, I would love to eat my junk food, subconscious, not pay attention, scroll on my phone with the TV on and not paying attention to anything, and then feeling really stressed about my life because blah, 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 because that's what I was getting, too much sensory input, to now feeding myself a lot more vegetables and feeling how much better my body feels. noticing that. And the vegetables for me in my conscious, subconscious, even intuitive mind is the vegetables are reading uplifting books, listening to music, paying attention to the people that surround me and what they to how I to beautiful imagery that really supports my me. Things that I love, having flowers. That's a beautiful way to support your subconscious. It's a beautiful way to feed your mind. It's a beautiful way to treat yourself. And remembering that all of this is just one breath away. And that when we have the power, we have a power to decide. We have the power to decide. And it's not difficult. If we decide that it's difficult, it will be difficult. If we decide that it's easy, it's going to be easy. It's as simple as that. And really what it is it's just a new habit. It's just a new way of experiencing the world. So if you'd like, I would love for you to share in the comments, or what are the ways that you feed your subconscious mind? How do you pay attention to what your brain food is? How do you notice that how your input directly affects your output? So I'm sending you all my love from London, all tucked cozy into my bed because it's cold before I go have dinner. But I just want to tell you that I love you. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Great way to really pay attention and be loving to ourselves. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.